Rabia!
Hi.
Hi, well, good morning. Good morning.
I'll tell you what, I was walking down the road this morning on the way to Waitrose and I noticed a fleet of cars passing me by on the way to Waitrose. Yeah.
Was it a Greta van Fleet?
It was actually, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be trying to sound like Led's...
Greta van Fleet.
Yeah, sorry, I mistook their name.
All jokes aside, they're really, really
They're
good
a really, really, really good band. And
a lot of controversy about them.
There is, for some good reasons. Undeniably fantastic.
Amazing live band.
Yes. And for those guys, you know, who'd like to hear some of the greats from back in the day, but with better production, younger guys, you know, maybe a bit more stage presence, they're still together.
Less drool.
You know, still going. These are your guys. These are your guys.
So we're going to do our best to sound like Greta van Fleet.
Okay, without further ado. So, we need to try and find a guitar rig for Jake Kiska.
We do. He plays an SG, doesn't he? Old school SG.
Really, yeah. It's a 61, I believe.
I saw a rig rundown. Apparently the neck had broken on it multiple times. It's absolutely battered, but he still plays it because it's the sound that he has.
Yeah, well, it's a great sound. And old Marshalls.
Yeah.
And very, very few pedals.
Yeah.
I think just mainly reverb and fuzz.
Right. Obviously, we've got a £1,500 budget, so we can't always go whole hog with certain aspects of it. And if we've got to find a decent amp, we might have to take the hit on the guitar. There is an 899 Gibson SG over there.
It's really, really nice. But
which would be great.
Can we? Well, is there a good Marshall for about $550? Leaving us 50 quid for a reverb.
You'd be pushing it. Well, I reckon we'd take a look at this one here.
Okay, which is the Epiphone SG Pro.
I'm going to say, is that a Power Ferro fretboard?
It looks very Power Ferro, yeah.
It's pretty light. It's got vintage output humbuckers, so that's a good thing. He plays PAF set.
Yes.
Original. Coil splitting, which we probably won't need. But yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of getting the sound, it's an SG. That's probably going to do us a good job.
Let's try that. So news just in.
We just found out.
This guitar is £299, which is outstanding value.
But that's £1,200 left for an amp and a couple pedals.
Yeah, we have a lot of budget left. So the options are...
This is a placeholder.
Go more expensive. Yeah, we'll keep this for now and see if we can fill in a good amp. But that's a lot of money for an amp.
I know. So if we can find a decent amp, we'll go back and get the £900 SG.
Well, yeah, we're stuck basically. It's expensive guitar, cheap amp, or the other way around.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll find out.
We'll have a go. Right.
Okay. Amplification.
So, we've been deliberating for a good while.
We have actually.
There's a few different options, and obviously, if we went for the more expensive guitar, we'd have less budget. Mm-hmm. I think we agree that this one really comes down to the amp.
Yeah, because like
to get the full bore classic rock sound.
The Epiphone, really, you're talking. You know, it's got vintage output humbuckers. It's going to be all right for the money, especially. What was it, £350?
It's £300.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's so good.
So there's a 20-watt origin here. The thing is, the speaker cab it comes in, you know, through the mics it's probably fine, but in the room, for us to be convinced it sounds like it, it's going to be a little more difficult because it's such a small box. So we found the 50-watt head here.
We did, and there's also this 1936 2x12. So we're thinking if we get the Origin 50, run it through this, we should get a pretty decent sound.
Yeah, and then we've got a little bit of money left for the pedals we need.
I think we've got about 250 left, so yeah, plenty for a...
This is a holy grail or whatever, doesn't it?
Yeah, a reverb and then something kind of in the fuzz department.
This is the first time in a long time we've used head and cab.
It is, it's exciting.
Let's do it. Pedales.
He's not a big pedal guy.
No.
So we've got it down to
a EHX Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail, which we have in stock. And he uses what is an overdrive, basically.
Yeah.
A really old school one. We don't stock it. He has
Zen Lord or something.
It's something like that. He has a signature. It's a Jex Teles or something.
Right.
I think he's worked on a signature one with them.
Apparently they're incredibly rare.
Yes.
And they were used by the old school greats, Blackmore and Clapton and stuff.
Right. So We just need something. I think we've got it down to something that gives everything a little bit of a push.
So yeah, we were saying either the Echoplex, because we used that with Led Zeppelin and that was absolutely fantastic, and let's face it, it's very similar tone.
Yes.
Or we use the Walrus 385 because it's a type of overdrive based on an old cinema projector,
Right.
I believe. But apparently it's got a very nice classic breakup sort of tone to it.
Okay.
A little dearer than the Echoplex, but
Well, why don't we take both, and we can see which one sounds better?
and a Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
In the video room.
Yes, we are.
Here we are back in the video room.
We are back in the video room.
And we're happy.
It's really good. This is one of those. It all comes together,
It really did.
and it sounds great.
I had a feeling when we were walking out of the shop with this gear and I was like, oh, it'd be so good if it just sounded just like it.
I've got to say, I think the cab, the hunch in the store with this cab, was the right hunch. It sounds great. The Origin sounds great through it. It's huge, giving us that kind of wall of classic rock goodness.
The thing is, these are, what are these, G1275s, I think, what's in a Marshall cab. And when it's a classic Marshall cab, 1936 or 1960s or whatever.
With 12-inch speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the sound of Marshall. It doesn't matter what Marshall amp you put through it, it's going to sound very Marshall-y.
Yeah, and these are great cabs, and they're not ridiculously expensive either.
No, 360 quid.
369 quid, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a bargain, in my opinion.
So Greta Van Fleet is the artist we're doing if you happen to skip the beginning of this video.
And if you don't know who they are, go and check them out.
Yeah.
Much recommended.
I would say this, if you like Led Zeppelin, you'll probably like Greta Van Fleet.
If you really like Led Zeppelin, you will either love Greta Van Fleet or maybe not like them as much. But
I
either
think they're
way,
great.
I think they're great.
Yeah. I think it's important for a band like that to come out now, because youngsters, like talking like I'm old.
Yeah.
I am 30, so that's considered old. But youngsters may not know Greta Van Led Zeppelin.
Yes, it's easy to get them confused. I can see you.
Yeah. But they might hear Greta Van Fleet and go, oh, this is really cool.
great
And then their dad
sound.
goes, well, if you like these, then you like Led Zeppelin.
If you like these, then check out this band. They're
But
exactly
the best
same.
bit is, yeah, you have like a ton of albums from your favourite band.
Exactly. Do you know what my favourite thing is? And I think like maybe Zeppelin purists maybe would polarise opinion, but I really love Zeppelin, and Greta Van Fleet for me are great. And it's production wise, it's amazing to be able to listen to a sound you really like and are familiar with, but that
clearer,
sounds
yeah.
modern day, rich, huge production.
Because a lot of people would say it's about the old school sound.
True, but it depends what you're into. It depends what you're into.
But this isn't a debate over Greta Van Fleet.
No,
it's
I think
legitimacy.
we're praising them.
I'd say it's legitimised by the fact we're trying to sound like them. So,
There you go.
without further ado, this is the guitar.
This is the champion of this rig, I think.
Yeah, like, it has to be said that I didn't even tune this when we did the excerpt. It was just perfectly in tune.
Yeah, and for £299,
Epiphone SG Pro,
so affordable.
Alnico vintage voiced humbuckers, straight up standard kind of SG vibe, 2 volumes, 2 tones, 3-way toggle. And to be honest, it played and sounded really good. Nice and straightforward.
Yep.
That goes into the Walrus 385, which we tried to find Echoplex, didn't have it.
We did. Unfortunately, they're out of stock at the moment. And that sounded really good. And we've got this going into the Holy Grail, and it's the Holy Grail Neo.
We didn't get a Holy Grail.
We'll put links to both in the description box.
Yeah. The only thing was, because we're running this in front, as I'm assuming he does, the problem is the level has to be so low.
It's so sensitive as well. We were literally finding we had to tap it to adjust it.
Just to adjust it. But the Walrus 385 does actually do quite a lot, but I'll show you, this is basically the rig, other than the fact we're using the Marshall Origin 50 head. And I was, what's the word? I wasn't convinced by the Origin series until we did this video. And I said this off camera. Like, just plugging into it and playing through it, and you're like, that's a great sound. Like, it's just a great Marshall sound.
It is. And I think sometimes it's all down to the speakers for me.
Okay. Kind of. Half and half.
Well, yeah, but with more affordable stuff,
Yeah.
I think sometimes the speakers can let
Yeah,
us
if
down.
it's a cheap speaker, it's going to not sound great.
I always remember about my Marshall AVT 150. Through the cab, didn't sound good. Through a better cab, sounded great.
I had the same thing. I had an AVT 150, and I had a really cheap version of the cab, and then I got a 1960s A old school 80s version.
There you go.
It sounded incredible.
Sounded massive.
Anyway. So let me take off, I'll leave the reverb on just because it's reverb. And the cool thing is the gain, you've got a gain boost on the front on a push-pull pot. So I've had that pulled out, but it's halfway gain. To be honest, the entire amp minus the master is pretty much at halfway.
Yeah.
All the settings are at halfway. Yeah, so this is the guitar without the 385. It's like when you hit it too hard, it almost goes out of tune.
Yeah.
And then this is the middle position for... Both of which are like kind of there, but then when you throw in the 385, you go...
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
It gives it a lift, doesn't it?
And we had a range of... That's with the gain roll down for the last excerpt we did.
Yeah.
But I think I had the gain a bit higher and the treble a bit higher for stuff like the Safari song. Just a bit more gain.
Yep. Beautiful.
It's a great sounding rig.
It is a great sounding rig, and it's not. It's like under budget.
It's under
It's under £1,500. So I'm pretty impressed. Obviously, I'd say the one thing you could do if you had a bit more cash is upgrade the guitar. To,
You're talking an extra 500 quid for the Gibson.
if that's the Gibson, but you know, that's just something to consider. But I think all in all, you wouldn't be disappointed.
That's really, really good point, actually. We were going to pick an £899 Gibson.
£899, yeah.
So, and this is £300. So an extra £600 would have gotten you an American Gibson SG with all this gear. And this is a full-on gigging rig. This is a 50-watt valve head, 212.
Yep.
Overdrive in the front and some reverb.
Great quality pedals as well.
Yeah, and if you're into classic rock, hard rock stuff,
Yep.
it sounds absolutely awesome.
So probably, yeah, for about £2,000 then, or just over, you get yourself just a really, really solid rig.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure this could handle way more than what we're throwing at it.
Oh, totally.
Considering how much gain's left on the pedal.
Yep.
The fact the amp's all at 12 o'clock. I mean, great rig. I'm happy.
Really good. And obviously, I was just clocking in here with some bass with this Fender P bass. And Fender Rumble 100 in the back, as we usually use.
Rumble in the back.
But yeah, another solid rig.
Yes. Well, that would be how to sound like Greta Van Fleet on a budget of £1,500.
Awesome. So let us know how you think we did, and if there's anyone else you'd like us to sound like. And also check out the band if you haven't already.
Links in the description box. I've been Rabia.
And I've been Matt.
And this has been Sound Like
on Andertons TV.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah, so this is the guitar without the 385.
Don't even need to tune it.